conversations and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs. Follow the leader. Follow the leader at KBLA 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. Keep following the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. You ready?
It's the queen of royal bad.
It's time for the Rob Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
World's famous. World's famous. You're now listening to Skateboard P and the Louis Vuitton Dime. It's so unfair, so unreasonable. Let's go.
I must have hurt your feelings.
Come on.
Never hit the feeling. You know I wanna talk to you.
Get him, baby.
But the main thing is living. But God knows it's not giving. You know I got a lot to do.
You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I'm your host, Robin Ayers, with you Monday through Friday, and I am so sorry. I missed out on Tuesday. I wasn't here Tuesday. Y'all, I caught a flat tire on the freeway. Like, who does that? Robin Ayers. That's who does it. But you know what? I'm back today. Car is fixed. I'm back in my ride. Shout out to AAA. You know, we talked about that, like when men don't change the tire themselves, but they call AAA. AAA is clutch. AAA is clutch. I say everybody should have it. So anyway, I am back in the building. So glad to be here with all of you. I see you, Raw Squad, coming on up into our YouTube chat. Very good to see all of you guys. Happy Wednesday. It's a lot to talk about today. I want to go ahead and get started with a few updates just so that we can get it rolling. Now, DJ Vlad, you know, we talked about that the other day. DJ Vlad went back and forth with a Princeton professor. She was a black woman who he kept tagging Princeton, trying to get her fired, basically, trying to make them aware of the beef that they were having online. It was a back and forth, okay? Well, now, after he has publicly had a verbal volley with this woman, he has now issued a public apology to her. He says, after some serious thought, basically, he wound up just saying he apologizes, and my guess is that he caught tons and tons of backlash for that. In addition to the fact that he is in the industry, thank you to Fahima who let us in on the fact that she is related to one of the greatest producers of our time, Rodney Jerkins, and that whole family, by the way. So it's not a smart move, Vlad. Not a smart move. So anyway, he did issue a public apology. I don't know if she has accepted it or will choose to. Beside the point. All right, so that is that on that. We have an update from Pastor Keon, who we also spoke about recently. Pastor Keon Henderson is the one who shushed and snapped at that woman in his church. She happened to be a choir member. Let's go ahead and play the clip. He was on Tamron Hall, he and his wife, Shawnee Henderson. They were on the Tamron Hall show, and he explained exactly what happened. This is what happened. Let's take a listen.
I always tell people a snippet of video is not the total story. Yeah. So tell me what happened there.
Well, you know, social media is into cuts, not context.
Yeah.
And every suggestion that I got from every naysayer, I've already done. This is a 4-year battle, right?
Oh, this is ongoing.
This is ongoing. So I've already talked to her personally. I'd already had ushers go up to her. I've already had prayer warriors. I've had everything. So she did it publicly after being asked not to.
What is she? Is she crying? Is it emotional?
Well, you know, as a pastor, I know the difference between disturbance and worship. And what people have to understand is that every time you hear a noise in church, it isn't worship. And so there has to be order. For instance, it's okay to applaud in this room right now. But if somebody got up and just started clapping right now, I'm sure somebody would bring order to the room.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I brought order to the room so people could hear God and not her. And I'd do it again if I needed to.
Wow. He said he would do it again. Okay. So that we know, and we talked about this on that show, that it's always a snippet We always need more context to find out what happened. Did he just go off like that in the middle of service during praise and worship? Well, no. He says he's been dealing with this for 4 years. Now, why it is that she's still on, the choir, she still has a position to cry out the way that she has, I don't know. That's not even for me to judge, but he says he's been dealing with it for 4 years. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that. But shout out to the fact that he at least addressed it publicly, and we'll leave that alone. Hopefully we don't see any more of that live stream, this lady crying out and he says something else, because then it'll turn into another thing. Questlove, if you all know, very, very famous yes, Andy? Oh, he's a very famous producer. He's a drummer, legendary, in fact. He says nobody won the war. Talking about, yeah, I have to say it. And not the people will give credence to people who they consider legendary, and they do consider Questlove legendary. However, he's receiving a lot of pushback. He says that nobody won the war. What he's talking about is this hip-hop battle. He says this wasn't about skill. He said this was a wrestling match, leveling, mudslinging, and takedown by any means necessary. Women and children and actual facts to be damned. Same audience wanting blood will soon put up RIP posts like they weren't part of the problem. Hip-hop is truly dead. This is what he said. I mean, some people are like, listen, what did you call Jay-Z and Nas? What did you call Tupac and Biggie? It was all of that. It was the whole thing. He says basically no one has won. We are still talking about this battle. That's how prominent I feel like this entire battle has been over, I don't know, the past decade, maybe more. That's what he says. Now, whether you agree or not, that's up to you. Let's go ahead and move on. Jaleel White. Y'all know Urkel. Y'all remember Urkel from Family Matters? Well, he is now married, and he married a woman, and People magazine covered it. Now, the reason why it's like the man can't find love. Like, people just can't find love and just go off and happily create a life with the people that they want to create with. Well, social media is talking about this because he married a white woman. I don't know if people are surprised. I don't know why it's a big deal, but anyway, he married a tech executive. Her name is Nicoletta Rule, and they look like they're happy. So he has a daughter. He has a black daughter, in fact. He just found love with this woman. So congratulations to Jaleel White. Now here's where we're going to get to the question of the day, and I have this to say. We were talking about the battle, how it could become disruptive, it could become dangerous, it could become violent in some cases. Well, we had our thoughts on who would be violent and who wouldn't be. I don't think anybody thought that Drake and Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, that whole thing, I don't think anybody thought that it could possibly turn dangerous. Well, Toronto police, they recently held a press conference updating on a shooting, and this is after a drive-by shooting that took place outside of Drake's Toronto home, where his actual security guard was shot in serious condition. When the ambulance arrived, he was not even conscious. And so they don't know. They say they don't have a lot of the details. They're not sure if this has anything at all to do with this whole rap battle beef situation going on. But ironically, the same day, Drake's London OVO store, it was vandalized. And today, it's been reported that a man has been arrested for attempting to trespass onto Drake's home, also in Toronto. So this home in Toronto seems like it's getting a lot of action. And my question for you is, do you think that this is all coincidental, or do you think that this might actually have something to do with the rap beef? I don't know. We still don't have all the details, and I'm sure we'll learn more in the coming days. But we'll put that over in the poll for you guys to vote on if you are watching on our YouTube channel. But let's get into the Raw Report, Andy.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
Today we are talking about Marlon Wayans, of the big Wayans brothers group and sisters, by the way. Big family, big family. Well, Marlon Wayans he's recalling when his mother passed in 2020, and he says that he never got married because he always wanted her to remain number one, his number one girl. I have thoughts, but we'll talk about it on the other side. We're also going to talk about Nick Cannon, who he's apologizing to black women on behalf of prominent black men. This is interesting. And we happen to be talking to a black man as our contributor today, so I'm really excited to get his input, to get your input. Raw Squad, I'm sure you guys are going to be engaging with us today. We'll get to all of that on the other side. You are listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Eric Bellinger hanging out right here with my family at the Raw Report. Keep it locked.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580. Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. First, thank you for your support of KBLA Talk 1580. We deeply appreciate you. So, I get asked all the time, Tavis, when are you going to bring back that State of the Black Union symposium you used to do? You know the one where you had all those black intellectuals on stage every year and everybody watched all day live on C-SPAN? Yeah, I know the one. Let's bring it back. Well, I am pleased to tell you that if you go to KBLA1580.com right now, you can sign up to be in the audience here in Los Angeles when we go back live on C-SPAN with a stage full of black thinkers and influencers for a historic conversation. America has never seen a stage full of black folk talking about the urgency of now. Climate justice, climate equity, climate resilience. It's going down Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. at the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Admission is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com. Once we reach capacity, you'll have to watch us on C-SPAN. But if you want to be in the room when we go live from Los Angeles, Tuesday, June 18th, head to KBLA1580.com right now to reserve your seat. Caring about the climate, caring about the community. With KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
I'm a people say, hey, hey, hey!
Linking social justice and climate justice all year long. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
It's time to upgrade your wellness. Experience Unboxed Wellness Your Way, presented by Health Matters Clinic to unlock access to tools, tips, and local resources designed to empower you. Whether you're drawn to an energizing hip-hop yoga session or eager to boost your business or personal financial well-being, Unboxed has something tailored just for you. Get your tickets to join us on Friday, May 31st, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. by visiting www.healthmatters.clinic. Free event sponsored by Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health.
Are you wet shaving? You'll get razor bumps.
Nah, Pops. I'm good with Gillette Skin Guard. How long you been growing that beard Mama hates anyway?
Since 77. I shaved and got ingrown so bad.
That's why I use the Gillette Skin Guard razor, face scrub, shave gel, and moisturizer. So I don't have to worry about new razor bumps or shaving irritation.
Gillette Skin Guard, huh? Your mama's gonna love this one.
The best a man can get keeps getting better with Gillette Skin Guard. Buy now at a retailer near you.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'll tell you how big this rap battle is. It's so big that Joe Biden's campaign is using Kendrick Lamar lyrics to send a message to Donald Trump. I mean, they are literally on social media using Kendrick Lamar lyrics to his song. Euphoria. That's wild to me. Anyway, right now, 71% of you say that it doesn't matter if all this stuff that's happening to Drake is about the rap beef or not, or if it's just purely coincidental. 71% of you say it just needs to stop. I agree with you. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I just don't. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that news. I don't want to report that news. But that's the hope. The hope is it just comes to a stop. All right, let's go ahead and get our entertainment contributor on the line with us. We got Chris Gunther of the Chris Gunther Show. Hello to you.
Robin, what's going on with you?
You know, I'm good. I'm chilling. Now that I'm back in the seat, you know what I'm saying? Got my car back. I'm nice. No complaints.
I know that's right. I definitely was worried. I'm glad you all right, though.
I appreciate you, definitely, for sure. Let's get into this conversation about Marlon Wayans, whom I have a lot of love for. I got a lot of love for the entire Wayans family. You know, it's a lot of them. With not only the brothers and Kim Wayans, their sister, but there's nephews and nieces, cousins. There's so many Wayans out there. But Marlon, who is one of the stars, he opened up in an interview with People Magazine, and he was talking about his mother's passing in 2020. And his father actually recently passed away as well, but he was just talking about how his mother was his entire world. She was 81 years old when she passed, and he says that his mother's death broke him, and he said it shattered me into a million pieces because that was my girl. He said, I told my mother on her deathbed, I never got married because I always wanted you to be my number one girl. Those were his last words. And he said, take that to heaven with you. Now, immediately, I thought, there seems to be something wrong with that. Now, this is not to shame. This is not to frown upon. Certainly not to speak ill of his mother. But I do see an issue with that. And it actually brings to me a lot of clarity behind closed doors. Like, okay, well, now it makes sense because Marlon he's had children. He actually has a recent child. I mean, a 1-year-old or, 2-year-old, something like that. The child is very, very young. But he has never been married. Give me your thoughts, Chris. You are a married man. So you have actually taken that leap. What do you feel about that whole, I have to keep my mother as my number one girl, so I'm never going to put another woman in that spot?
Well, first things first, I love Marlon Wayans. He's one of my favorites of the entire Wayans tribe. And I wish that I could do a sit-down with him so I could ask him to explain this a little bit more. Because here's a little bit of background. Marlon, to my knowledge, is the youngest brother, and he was the last one to leave home. So while all of his other siblings were gone doing In Living Color and things of that nature, he was the last one. So he and his mother were very close. And because they were that tight, he always wanted to, make sure his mom was cool. And he's even opened up about it several times. But when he says something like this, that does give me cause to pause. Because if you wanted your mother to be the only woman in your life, then why did you go out and start having children? And one of them was a daughter. Now, we understand that, things like that happen. But it also makes me wonder, does he suffer from mama's boy syndrome? Mm-hmm. And I'm a happily married man. I was the youngest of my siblings, and I was the last one to leave home. But my mother always knew that I was going to eventually leave and get married and have my own life, and that's what it's supposed to be. And as close as me and my mom have always been, I don't believe my mom would have wanted me just to only have her as my only woman, as like the number one woman in my life. And I just feel like Marlon Wayans in this particular part, I just think the biggest thing that he has unfortunately had is the mama's boy syndrome. And he never wanted anybody else to take place of his mother, which I can somewhat understand it, but at the age of 50 years old, after you lived a little bit, after you've had children, after you toured all around the world, after you've made movies, it is just hard for me to believe that you only want your mother to be the only number one woman in your life. It's just hard for me to believe it.
Mm-hmm. So do you believe, like I see over here inside of our YouTube chat, that it's possibly an excuse? Critic Chronicle says that's just an excuse. I believe she was his world, but that marriage stuff really is an excuse. So do you believe that as well?
100%, because if his mother was still here, and I'm pretty sure, like, even though I don't have a way to prove this because I don't know Marlon Wayans at all, I am pretty sure his mother was maybe trying to tell him, hey, you need to go live your own life. Go get you a fine woman. Go settle down, etc. Now, I don't understand if he believes in marriage or not. That's on him. However, I'm speaking for me as a happily married man. There was no way on God's green earth that my mom was going to be number one in my life forever. Opposite of heaven, no. Love my mama dearly. And shout out to her because her birthday is on Mother's Day this year. Love you, mama.
Yeah.
But when I married,
nice.
Just saying. But when I married my wife, my mom already knew what it was.
Understood. Jay West says he hasn't met a woman he wants to marry. It's that simple. I don't know if it's that simple because, you know, he's had children. 2 of his children are with his longtime partner. And so they've been around each other for many, many years. And she's a beautiful woman. I don't know if a woman, to me, in my opinion, if a woman has proven worthy enough to have your children, more than one, not child, but children, that's a decision. Sometimes you could say, I didn't choose, you know, it was a mistake or an oops child or something. No child, I want to be clear, no child is a mistake. But you know how some people say that. Some people talk and they say, I didn't mean to get you pregnant or, you know, whatever. But he went and had another child with this woman. And, by the way, they all still very much get along. They co-parent very well. They're very tight-knit. So
God bless them.
Yeah, absolutely, which is great. So I don't know that if he could say she's worthy of having 2 of my children and us growing and co-parenting together and living together and having that type of partnership, that she wasn't worth me marrying. I'm just not sure about that. Let's go ahead and get to Fahima, who wants to weigh in on this as well. Hey, Fahima.
Hey, greetings, Robin. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
And I agree with your guest. I think he was using it as an excuse because you may remember I sent you when the whole issue about the child support came up. This was a secret daughter that he was hiding from his long-term partner. Because I sent you the information that it was the last daughter where I think you did a show about, you know, the child support, and I made mention people are co-parenting. There's no child support involved, and so it was a secret daughter that he was hiding from his long-term partner, and so it's just, I think he just needs to deal with his stuff. It's plain and simple. He has some unresolved issues that he needs to deal with. It obviously has something to do with submission, and he shouldn't be blaming that on his mama.
So it has more to do with his partner, his woman, than it does his mother.
Oh, it has to do with him. He has been with a long-term partner. I think his oldest child is an adult, and then he had an outside child that he tried to hide. It didn't come out because remember I sent you a DM that this was a secret child that he was hiding from his long-term partner. So he has some unresolved issues that has nothing to do with mama, has nothing to do with his partner. It's just some stuff he personally needs to deal with. Why he's afraid of commitment at 50 years old.
I think many people would agree with you on that. Critic Chronicle says Marlon has trust issues. You know, thank you so much, Fahima. I appreciate that call and the insight. Chris, your thoughts on a woman being able to pick up on that? You know, and this is, by the way, this is just conversation. I'm not blaming his partner, his longtime partner, nor am I blaming the new mother of his child or anything like that. But I'm just wondering, as you typically see signs, like, you know, that movie, Think Like a Man, where
one of my favorite movies.
Yes,
absolutely.
Terrence J's character, where he is a certified mama's boy. I mean,
mama's
he will
boy,
not
all the way.
Yeah, he has to get his mom's pretty much her approval for the woman that he wants to date. She's always around, always in his business. When you start dating a man, can't you like usually pick up on the fact that he's pretty much a mama's boy? Maybe you don't know to the extent, but you can pick up on that.
Well, since I've never dated a man before, I don't know if I can answer that part of the question. But I will say this, just joking. I will say this though, as somebody that definitely believes in a woman having a very strong intuition. Woman's intuition most of the time is not wrong, and it probably is very frustrating. Mind you, I can't speak for a woman's perspective. You could jump in on this, but I'm pretty sure that women in general get a little frustrated if they're dealing with a mama's boy. Because it's like, man, everything that I do, he's going to try to compare me to his mom, and that's unfair to her. In Marlon's situation and in Marlon's circumstance, it's unfortunate from the standpoint of he continues to repeat this cycle that mama has to be number one, mama has to be number one. But eventually life goes on. And just like that, caller that called in and said that, at 50 years old, him still having an issue like that, I do believe that there is a deeper problem rooted in that, which I understand we don't have enough time in this, show to really dig into. But I just feel that there does come a certain age and there does come a certain time when you have to grow up and you have to just say, this is what I want to do. And maybe he just doesn't believe in marriage. Maybe he just wants to be the 50-something-year-old bachelor. Last point on this, even though I'm in my late 20s, I was raised to believe this. If she was not going to be the mother of my children, she was not going to be my wife. And maybe, just maybe, if Marlon might have adopted that mindset, he would not be in the situation that he's in. I don't know the dude. Wish him nothing but the best. Yeah. However, that's a word. I'm just putting this out there for some young men that is listening. If you really can't see yourself marrying her, do not put a child in her.
Well, he might be fine with his circumstances. He might just be okay with that. And to Jay West's point, he says he just don't want to be married. Okay, that would be fine. I would be okay with that if you had your own reasons of not wanting to be married. But when you put it in the context of I didn't want to be married because I wanted to keep my mom number one, that sounds a little that sounds like it has some undertone of issues. Now, I'm not the judge. We all have things, right? But I don't know. Yeah, we all got things, so let the man live. But I just thought that was an interesting I've never heard a grown man say that. I've actually never heard that before. And to hear it from a prominent man such as him, I thought that was interesting. And speaking of prominent men, Nick Cannon, we're talking about on the other side, who wants to apologize to black women on behalf of prominent black men. We'll talk about that. Right now, though, we've got news, traffic, and sports. You're listening to The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? It's your girl, Takara Williams, here with Robin Ayers on The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. If you ain't here, baby, hurry up.
More of The Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is approving $75 million for a new University of Florida graduate campus in Jacksonville. In March, the Florida Board of Governors approved plans for the new campus that's expected to cost about $300 million. About $570 million is earmarked for K-12 student safety programs, and another $20 million will go towards boosting security and infrastructure at Florida's HBCUs. Exceptions for rape and incest will not be added to Louisiana's abortion ban. The House Administration of Criminal Justice Committee voted 7-4 on Tuesday to reject the changes. The committee's pro-life majority said they're more interested in punishing the rapist than the innocent child resulting from his illegal action. State Representative Delisha Boyd, a black New Orleans Democrat who had proposed the bill to make the changes. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Over in Griffith Park on the 134 East before the 5. Watch for an accident currently on the right shoulder, causing stop traffic up to 20 minutes from Bob Hope. Back in Elysian Park's 110 south between Stadium Way and the 10, a 15-minute traffic jam still runs heavy. Making our way through the Sepulveda Pass, an injury crash has been reported on the right shoulder of the 405 north after Moronga Drive. And right now, there's a stop traffic delay from Venice Boulevard over 45 minutes. And in Echo Park's 101 north before Highway 2 Alvarado Street interchange, a 45-minute traffic jam still runs heavy from the 5 as a 3-car crash remains on the right shoulder.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Former LA Sparks star Candace Parker was named president of Adidas Women's Basketball. The 38-year-old Parker will oversee marketing and business operations for the women's basketball division of Adidas. In 2010, Parker was the first female athlete to have a signature shoe deal with Adidas. Parker retired last week from the WNBA. She played 13 of her 16 seasons with the Sparks. The Denver Nuggets got a break. Jamal Murray will not be suspended for throwing items onto the court Monday night in Game 2 in the Western Conference semifinals against Minnesota. Instead of a one-game suspension, the NBA fined Murray $100,000. Murray will be in the lineup for Game 3 Friday night in Minneapolis. North Carolina Central will play Norfolk State in the 40th annual Circle City Classic football game in Indianapolis. The HBCU Classic is scheduled for Saturday, September 28th. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at KBLA 1580. Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews.
Follow the leader.
Stimulating conversations and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
We see a lot of news about teens vaping, but teens see something else. Videos on social media that glamorize it and downplay the dangers of nicotine. How can parents talk so kids will listen? Use facts. 1. Nicotine can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can make teens more anxious. 3. Changes to the brain can be permanent. So even when it hides behind a new look, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
May is National Foster Care Month. You can help a child in need of a loving, safe, and nurturing home by becoming a foster parent, providing the support children need to be successful in life. Black children are disproportionately represented in foster care. When placed with families in their community, they have better outcomes to thrive. FosterLAKids.org or 888-811-1121. Again, 888-811-1121. Call today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Single Moms Planet is a nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting under-resourced single mom business owners and working mothers nationwide. Single Moms Planet offers comprehensive programs of financial literacy, business development, mentorship, and entrepreneurial training. They provide education, accountability, and hope. Single Moms Planet was founded by model, TV personality, and producer Nefertari Plessy. Nefertari felt firsthand the challenges that face single moms as she was raised by a working single mother. She learned that the most disadvantaged group in the United States are single mom families. According to the U.S. Census, 30% live under the poverty line. So she decided to do something about it, along with co-founder Cole Patterson. Their goal is to end the poverty cycle in single mother households through education, opportunity, and networking, providing family and child enrichment programs for under-resourced single-parent families. Single Moms Planet serves over 10,000 single moms and their children each year. Studies show that business development and financial literacy provide a positive environment for children and families, exposing them to new possibilities. If you need help as a single mom, please visit singlemomsplanet.org. That's singlemomsplanet.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed about what's really going on. Who's got next and what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to the Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Come on. Come on. Get it. Come on. Come on.
You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Come on up in here. join us for the second half of our show. Happy birthday to I got it wrong.
Robin, chat, everybody listening. What's today?
What's today? Let's see.
Really?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Come on, chat. Somebody put it out there.
Come on,
What's today?
Okay,
I'm mad at y'all right now. I'm so mad at y'all right now.
Well, maybe.
Come on. Hey. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Right.
Okay, we're not getting it.
It's hump day, man.
Oh, man, I failed. I brought down the moment.
You super failed, Robbie.
Really? Failed. Listen, hold on. Before you get all disappointed and whatnot, if you could have an off day, not being on the button.
Look at touche, Robin.
Touche. You know what I'm saying? Thank you very much. Humping around. Yes, I get it. Ain't nobody hump. Okay, hump day. You're right. Okay, well, listen. Fall back a little bit on me today. I had a rough day yesterday. I'm getting on track today, though. And we don't call it hump day around here. We call it Friday Junior. Ooh.
The chat wasn't rocking with it, though. You know what I'm saying? So you the only one. I appreciate you. But today's hump day, though.
Okay, all right. Yeah, shout out
Go
to
hump
day.
something.
All right.
Matter of fact, Marlon Wayans, go hump something.
Oh, man. Welcome on into the Rob Report. Listen, we are having a conversation with Chris Gunther, who we have on the line today. We are talking about the fact that Marlon Wayans he did not want to marry a woman because he always wanted to keep his mother in the number one spot. Well, you know what? He told her that as his last words to her before she took her last breath. He says, take that to heaven with you. I don't know if that was her wishes or not. She was 81 years old when she passed away in 2020. He said that he was shattered behind that. What I do hope, though, moving on from this conversation, I hope that he can stand 10 toes on his decision. I hope that he has no regrets. And if he does, it's still not too late. He can marry someone. It's still not too late. He's Marlon Wayans. Andy, your thoughts?
I can't help but feel like this discussion is like we're disappointed and you need to be married.
No.
But you kind of said it, you know what I'm saying, before we went to break. Maybe Marlon is not tripping, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he's okay. In some ways, I can relate. We talked about how he was the youngest of the kids, so he probably was the closest to his mom. Mm-hmm. And for all we know, and, you know, once again, I don't want to blame moms, but who knows? She probably really, like, catered to Marlon to a way to where she saw all of her kids leave, mm-hmm. and, you know, she was like, Marlon is the last of my kids. I want to hold on to him dearly. And, you know, sometimes that love it's unbreakable sometimes. Mm-hmm. Once again, I don't want to put blame on moms, but, you know, maybe it just affected Marlon to the point where if any other woman came around, it was just hard to all the way commit.
I hear that, and we don't know. I don't know that we'll ever know, and you'll probably only know if you were close to the Wayans family how she was with Marlon. If she was the one who was also keeping him close and she sort of enabled him to be, you know, that close to her. But what I will say is this: she had a husband. So that's not necessarily healthy to do. And again, I don't have a problem with anybody saying that they don't want to get married. If you don't want to get married, you don't want to get married. But you usually don't want to get married because you're like, listen, all kinds of things come with that, you know, and I want to choose a lifestyle of, you know, moving and freedom and, you know, all of the things, right? However, that's not what he said. He said that he told his mom, I did not get married so that you could be my number one girl. That's the issue that I have with it. I think it's a little off. But I, too, like Chris said, I would want to get a little bit further, you know, information and interrogate that a little bit more. But we're going to move on from the conversation. We're not mad at Marlon, by the way. No, nobody's mad at Marlon. You seem like you are Like we giving him heat.
It sounds like it.
All right, well, we giving him heat because
it's like you 50 years old. You grown. You should be married.
Nah, if he didn't want to get married, he didn't want to get married. But don't say you didn't want to get married because your mom was your boo.
But if that was his reasoning, why are we knocking his reasoning, though?
That's unhealthy.
That's fair. I mean,
that's unhealthy. Your mom is not your boo.
I just would like to say that this song in the background is like the perfect segue into what we're talking about next. Just saying.
All right, well, what we're talking about next is Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon, who says, you know what? He's trying to figure out if he should be apologizing. What I respect about Nick Cannon is he is always trying to grow and gain an understanding. So he's always having these scholars on his show, these doctors on his show, trying to get more insight as to what he's even doing wrong and what the culture as a whole is doing wrong. He has a show called Council Culture. It's not cancel culture, but council culture, where he has a lot of great people coming on there talking. And after a discussion on this show, he says this, trying to see if he should apologize to black women. Let's take a listen.
But I don't know if I should apologize. This is what I was just saying. I feel like black women in general are disappointed with me. I think like maybe the single black woman who look to individuals like me sometimes, sort of public figures, and I say me, but I'm also probably saying just the prominent black man in general, for some of our actions, and specifically even towards black women. It has to be difficult when you see, black men not upholding their side of the bargain.
One, I would say you are loved.
Well, thank you. I feel it.
You are loved.
And maybe I'm loved, but I'm not always liked.
Listen, no one is liked.
He has a strong point. Nick Cannon has a strong point right there. Chris, let me turn it over to you. Give me your thoughts about it, not only what Nick is saying, but you can read the temperature pretty much of what the women nowadays are saying. What do we believe that, first of all, we've had this conversation. Everybody's trying to figure out, is it the egg or the chicken that hatches first? Like, we're all trying to figure out what has to happen in order to sort of get us back right with each other, men and women, particularly black men and women. We're all trying to figure that out. And we're all saying, well, men should start to do this or women should start to do that. Nick Cannon at least is making he's trying. He's putting his foot out there to take his first step. Give me your thoughts on if you think black women deserve an apology. So are you in agreement with Nick Cannon?
I'm in agreement with him to a certain extent. And here's what I mean by the certain extent part. It's one thing to apologize, but the best apology is change behavior.
Sure.
As much as I respect what Nick Cannon has done, I cannot sit up here and just dismiss all the other stuff that he's done too with creating a bunch of toxic homes. Yes, I understand he probably has enough money to take care of his children, but the reality of it is he's made so many children with so many women that there is no way possible that this man can be present with his kids 24/7 with all of them. While I respect him and I respect everything that he's accomplished, in this terms when he's talking about, I just want to apologize to my black women, I'm glad that he's taking the stance that says I've done some wrong, but I want to see if he's actually going to live out this apology that he is talking about.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get to JW, who's calling from South Central LA. Hey, JW.
Hey, how you doing?
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in on that as well. I actually believe, based on what he's doing, he's turning his pain into purpose, and he is making the transition, especially if he's having professionals come on and have dialogue. It'll be a process. We're all human. We all have faults and flaws, and it's a human perspective, and human beings are what you call dysfunctional, and it's just part of the human experience, and maybe he had more of a higher consciousness or rational-minded or morals or ethics or whatever. So time will tell, and I give the brother props, and it makes me think about, I'm just going to put his name out here, I don't know if I can now, but with the Nika Marie Dope discussions years ago, when I first started getting involved with the internet, and I used to chime into her show, and she pretty much encouraged what's taking place now then. She was like a forerunner. She was like a messenger. And she got a lot of flack against the haters, and some people may be getting paid by, design, etc. I'm not going to go into detail. But the point is, human beings are fragile and frail, and the black community as a whole, the families usually need to stay together so we will exist in the future.
I hear that.
Have a good day.
Thank you so much, JW. We appreciate you and your comments. I have a very sincere question, and I agree with Reggie White, who says collectively black women are owed an apology. I do believe that collectively, and I do agree with you, Chris, that change behavior is the apology, but it has to start somewhere. And not only is Nick sort of apologizing, but he has a show in which he's trying to counsel the culture, right? He's trying to counsel people. So because it's more, how do you make change and you don't know how to make the change? You have to become educated on it. You have to become counseled on it, right? As much as we push, therapy for men, specifically men, everybody I feel like needs it, but we push it on black men specifically. A lot of black men are pushing back. Now, it is becoming more sort of trendy and popular to go, and a lot of men are becoming more aware that they should go. But I'm just saying, for those people who don't push back, I think that Nick is doing something for the culture to say, listen, we should all get on board and we should all be educated as to why we need to make this apology. Where does that
I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
No, I 100% agree with you. I think one of the things that we can do as a people better is actually come together and have these conversations with open minds and actually listen to each other and try to hear where each other is coming from. Because ultimately, we all are human. We all have, good days and bad days. But I feel like if we all can sit at the table and actually listen and comprehend and then actually make the efforts along with initiating the action to make the change behavior. That's why I say I respect what Nick is doing in terms of trying to have these sessions where he has people that are on that can, put on these hidden gems, and he can actually help us, in a sense, see where he's trying to go. And like I said, I respect the heck out of Nick. I'm not a fan of the stuff he's done in his personal life, but that's that man's personal business. To see what he's doing in the community and trying to push things for the culture, got to give, him a lot of credit for that. And if I can, I see in the comments, shout out to my homie Sequoia Harris, who was definitely on the Come On Somebody podcast here in my hometown, Youngstown. Shout out to them for tuning in to the Raw Report tonight. Just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, very nice. Well, let me just say this really quickly, and this for anybody who disagrees, we're just going to have to disagree about it. I have a problem with the fact that nobody can be satisfied these days. We push back on so many people, so many men, we push back on all the things. And then once somebody makes a stride, somebody makes a step to do something positive, all of a sudden, that's not good enough, and we want to start pulling up all these other things about you. How come we can't just focus on the fact that Nick is doing something positive? Let's not even focus on the fact that he's got all these children, which, by the way, how many men have 10, 11, and 12 children, and we do not focus on them. We talk about Nick. Nick has become the poster child for having a lot of kids, but Nick is not the only one. Currently, today, I'm talking about multiple men who have 10 plus children, or close to it, 9 children or whatever. But my point is this. I really try to. The reason we end up talking about Nick a lot is because Nick focuses on positivity. Regardless of what you have to say about the children that he's created and the homes that he's broken, Nick is always trying to do something positive, and he's always trying to enlighten society, enlighten these people around us, because he has a big platform. I applaud that. We're all human. You might not like the way I dress. That's cool. That's my own personal thing. I don't know. I'm just saying we may not like everything that everybody does. But if you see them going in a positive direction, doing something to contribute to society, let's promote that. Let's get behind that, and let's commend that. And I see far too many people just, you complain and complain about what we don't see. Like, take Jaleel White for an example. On one hand, black men, they're not getting married and they're not procreating and this and that and the other or whatever, but the man married a white woman. Okay. But he's going to get all this pushback. I'm just saying we can't seem to none of us can seem to be satisfied anymore. We can't get behind what's going on anymore. So anyway, that's where I leave it on that. Chris Gunther, I appreciate you so very much for tapping in with me and the Raw Report today. Let everybody know where they can find you online.
You can find me online on all of my social media handles at Chris Gunther. And be sure to check out my website, thechrisgunthershow.com. Robin, thank you so much for always having me. Appreciate you. Peace and love. God bless.
Absolutely. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening. We appreciate you. Okay, so right now in the poll, it says, do you agree with Nick Cannon that black women deserve an apology? 57% of you say yes, and 43% still disagree that, I don't know if it's that you disagree with Nick or that you disagree with black women need an apology. I don't know where you stand with that, but when we come forward, we'll get to more of this conversation. I'm going to read some of these comments, and I'm going to cool down. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. Stay there.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
We used to argue about whose turn it was to clean the gutters, but then I had Leaf Filter gutter protection installed.
Wait, I told you Leaf Filter had free inspections and estimates and a lifetime guarantee.
Meaning we never have to argue about whose turn it is to clean the gutters again.
But I visited leaffilter.com/beacon first.
No, I did.
It doesn't matter who. Visit leaffilter.com/beacon to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery when you add an adjustable base. And Sunday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk, too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
If you say you care about the community, you have to also care about the climate. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Well, thank you.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cow-cruise-news.com. That's cow-cruise-news.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text Better Community for Our Future. Subscribe today.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
I mean, we are back in this conversation. don't think we're done talking about Nick Cannon. What's up, Andy?
Before you go, I just want to appreciate, what you said at the end towards the last segment, because I saw some comments in the chat. I'm not going to say any names, but what I saw from Nick Cannon was him being vulnerable, right? And, we always ask our black men to be more vulnerable, right? Or, at least be more conscious and self-aware of your actions. And that looked like a moment he was doing that, but yet there was still pushback from other people. Like, don't be fooled, this, that, and the third. I'm just like, this is why black men don't open up.
That conversation as a whole just really saddens me. And there needs to be more light shown on that, on the fact that there are reasons that black men, we can say all men, but on this show we're talking about black men, all right? There are reasons that black men don't, and actually, no, I am going to say black men, because black men more specifically have to deal with certain traumas that other men don't. So, there's a reason behind that, and that just truly saddens me that we can't, as women, or just even as a society, if you want to take it as our own people, we can't accept each other enough and respect each other enough to just try to move us forward. That's the whole goal of all of this. The whole goal, even doing this show every day. This show every day, yes, we do talk about all kinds of things going on in black entertainment with these people, whether you may know them or not, whether it's in music, entertainment, film, whatever. It does not matter. But what you should know is that the whole goal of this show is to try to move us forward. And so when we see somebody like Nick or whomever else that you may choose, if we just see them trying to make strides, trying to move things forward for the better, let's just try to open our minds and receive that and accept that and not be so rooted in negativity and rooted in being against each other. You know what I'm saying? So, that's my goal, at least. I'm not trying to preach to you. You do as you will. But my goal is just to accept, we all have flaws, but accept us when we try to do something positive, and let's just move it forward. So that's where we end on that. You guys are amazing. I thank you so much for the engagement inside of our YouTube chat. Yes, Pretty Brown Mimi says, let's just show each other grace all the way around. I agree so very much. And thank you so much to Chris Gunther, who joined us today. I appreciate all of you. You can't change the channel, though, because you already know. Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, is up next with a fire show, because that's how he does it around here. My name is Robin Ayers, your host. And remember, today and every single day forward, be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is approving $75 million for a new University of Florida graduate campus in Jacksonville. In March, the Florida Board of Governors approved plans for the new campus that's expected to cost about $300 million. About $570 million is earmarked for K-12 student safety programs, and another $20 million will go towards boosting security and infrastructure at Florida's HBCUs. Exceptions for rape and incest will not be